Hey everyone. Hey Brittany, how you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you, Farmer Fobs?
I'm literally just thrilled for this yeehaw moment. It's really like, isn't it crazy how you and I are like sitting on this webinar? I think it was like a year ago we actually started like following each other on our social medias and all that fun stuff, and now we're getting to host a webinar. And we actually I did our first TikTok together today, so I'm super excited today.
Me too. Me too. I am really excited too. I see David in the chat. Yeehaw,
He
y'all.
better be. Yeah, he better be. That's my guy. Yep. Yeehaw. He definitely hearts out to my guy David to Hotler. So yeah, super excited. Well, I'm gonna start off by just introducing me, and then Brittany, I'll let you. And we're gonna dive right in, guys. We are two formal teachers where we're just like, we're gonna sit here, we're gonna dive in, and we're gonna create our assignment. We're gonna create our book like literally live, y'all. So my name is Alyssa Fabian, aka Farmer Fobs. And I am the district growth manager for Book Creator, and I am here to create all types of yeehaw moments. Go ahead, Brittany.
Yeah, and I'm Brittany Blackwell. I am the head of marketing and community here at Class Companion, but I'm also a former teacher. I've been an educator, licensed educator for the last 15 years. And I also host a podcast, the Resilient Teacher Podcast, available for streaming on all major podcasting platforms to help teachers beat burnout. So both Alyssa and I are former teachers, and we know exactly how to help you guys create those yeehaw moments, but also to beat burnout as well.
Yeah, awesome. Well, today what we are going to do, it is Be an Authors Month. And Book Creator has created just some amazing resources. Shout out to the team, because I literally I look at these resources and I'm like, this is the greatest thing to help teachers really get started. They don't have to create anything. And we've teamed up with different EdTech communities, like Class Companion, to really just kind of like, I call it an egg smash, but literally it's an app smash. And I was thrilled with Companion because I've actually used Class Companion as a teacher and as an ed tech coach, and I absolutely love the feedback. The kids love the feedback. So we are going to generate this lesson, this class, this assignment, a book, literally on air live for y'all. So Brittany, are you ready to get started? You ready to egg smash?
Ready to egg
All
smash.
right. All right. So she has shared my screen, and I'm going to be kind of talking a little bit about Class Companion, and then she's going to kind of be my student. She's actually going to create her book. So this is my screen. This is my Class Companion screen. And if you haven't tried Class Companion, you have to. It's super, super simple. You literally go in and create a class. And once you've done that, you can go in and create your first assignment by just clicking first assignment. All right. And this is exactly what pops up. Okay. You have three options. You can generate from AI, you can import a file, or you can also find content that has already been created right in Class Companion. So you might find one of ours just already in there. But today I'm going to generate with AI. Okay. And so when I do that, I can choose the grade level, I can choose the standard. Okay. If you're in one of these states, go ahead and choose one of those. I'm going to choose Common Core because I'm in the great state of Ohio. All right, y'all. And I'm going to choose English ELA. And then I'm going to go down and I can choose a topic. I'm going to go generic. And then I'm going to go to objective. Now, we are creating this as a personal narrative. We want our students to create a personal narrative for Be an Author Month. And so I need to create an objective. Okay. Now, Brittany, you think you can help me out with this? This gives us a great example. I want a two-part assignment. First, see the student understands it, and then all kinds of different stuff. You got anything for me that maybe I could sit here and say, hey, that's perfect?
Yes, I think I'm going to put it in the chat, but I think
Okay.
we'll write a personal narrative that recounts a meaningful or memorable experience using
I
descriptive
love that.
details, dialogue, and a clear
Ooh,
sequence of events.
really? And you know what I like about that? was I liked really how specific it was. It talks about clear beginning, middle, and end. So really, we want those students to create this story, and use descriptive details. We want that, y'all. And that's just a great way to just tell, the AI what kind of assignment I'm going to generate. So I'm going to click generate and review. Okay. And when I click that, it's actually creating my assignment right here live. And this is literally how simple it is. Okay. And yeah, I just love, like, I actually watch all these, like, Facing the Abyss, and I actually enjoy these because it really makes the time go on. Spoiling your best laid out plans. My best plans of the weekend, I don't know about you, was creating our TikTok video and doing some farm chores. So I don't know, I just love those. So when I create this assignment, okay, it gives me, the name of it, gives me my grade, and also I can go in and change all of that. Okay, I can change the unit, and then it gives me an introduction. In this assignment, you will write a personal narrative that tells a story from your own life. Your narrative should have a clear beginning, middle, and end, descriptive details. And Brittany, I think that's what this Being Author Month is all about. What you think?
I do too. I think that's exactly what it's about. And this is going to help the students get that immediate feedback so that they can make those adjustments in real time. So I'm
A
excited.
100%, 100%. Now, Brittany, I always talk about, I love AI, but I always talk keep the teacher in the loop. Okay. And so, and I think we've both nailed on this is that we've come up into this AI. We're big believers of AI, but we really talk about keeping the teacher in the loop and also keeping the student in the loop. All right. But right now, we can actually go in and we can actually sit here and say, okay, it's giving me question 1A, 1B, and 1C, but what do I want? Okay. And I can read this, and it's got the essay prompts, write a personal narrative about an experience that was meaningful for you. I like that. Then question 1B, what are some descriptive details and sensory language you included in your narrative? Give us 3 examples. I think I like that. And then after writing your first draft, revise your narrative. Okay, focus on improving. Now, Brittany, I think we're going to shorten this. Do we want to stick with, of course, that essay one, that question 1A? Do we even want these 2 short answers? Or if so, do we want to keep both? What do you want?
I think we should just stick with the one essay. In
All
other
right.
situations, I think short answer is really great so that we can get that immediate feedback on the short answer. But because we're writing this narrative, why don't we just keep it with just the essay prompt?
I like it. And so we can actually go in there and we can delete that. Okay. Now, are we done, Brittany? Are we done? Do we give it to our students now?
I think this looks good here, but I think we could go
Okay.
to the AI settings section next.
I think so too. I think so too. Walk me through this because I love this, but man, and to see Class Companion just continue to evolve, like, man. So walk me through, what is this AI tutor? Do I want to give it to students? Do I not want to give it to students? What do I want to do
So I think
and
this
why?
I think this is one of those situations where you might want to discuss with your class what you expect. So for my older students, I like to allow them to use the AI tutor because I want them to have a safe place that they can chat with AI and get that immediate feedback, but also get support. If I'm working in a small group with my students, I might want them to have that access so that they're not going to chat GPT or any of those other areas. They're actually allowed to use this. And I can see that
I was
response.
about to say, right there, you nailed it, is that you can see this. Everything that they put in, everything that they get answers to, you can see it. And I will say, I love a story that somebody shared with me was, that they've had kids in the room that never ask questions. They, and they're embarrassed, and maybe they think that their question isn't good enough to ask, or they just don't feel empowered. I will say I've seen this time and time after again, that when we give students these AI tutors, those kids now are in charge of their learning and they're asking questions. And I've seen kids go from, failing students to, passing students, all because they feel empowered to ask questions now. And that also really leads to a great discussion as a teacher. If a teacher, I can see that that kid's asking questions, I can go over and maybe keep that teacher in the loop and go, hey, I love how you're asking questions. How more else can I help you? And so now that you know those the kids have questions, I just think that that empowerment, I'm here for it because I've seen it time and time again. Now, talk to me. So I'm going to keep that AI tutor on. Talk to me about our Ditto's attempt. What do we do with that?
So Ditto's attempt is like the exemplar. And for this specific assignment, I might not want to add that in there just because I want the students to feel empowered by their own writing. And so this would be more of those situations where you might have state testing or AP exams or something like that, where you want students to see what an exemplar looks like, but they would see that at the end of the assignment. So for this one, let's leave this one off since it is optional. And then AI
Awesome.
context right here is anything that may go with an assignment. So if you have specific excerpts and things like that, we don't have that for this specific assignment, but
Yeah.
it would go in that section there.
Awesome. Well, thanks. Well, that leads us to our rubric, right? And this is probably one of my favorite parts because, I can, as a teacher, I sometimes struggle creating a rubric, but sometimes I already have one already created. So we don't have a short answer in this, and we do have an essay rubric. So I'm going to click Add Rubric. And so when I click that, I can go ahead and I can generate with AI. I can import it or I can find it in the content. Now, those of us that have looked at Be an Author Month, I'm going to say that you might have seen a rubric, okay? And so I'm going to show you how I would do this because this to me, I'm like, wait, I remember they already created a rubric. So if you go to Book Creator's homepage and you click Get Resources right here, I'm going to scroll down and I'm going to see Teacher Resources. All right, y'all. So I'm going to see this bookshelf. And guys, I love this. The Book Creator team, shout out to them. I just love the graphics, love the books, so user friendly. We have two different books. Our yellow books are for K through 5, and our teal color is for our 6 through 12. We have a workbook, and then we have a competition book. So I'm going to go into, let's just say, my K through 5 book, okay? And I'm just going to click Read Now. And as I turn the page, Brittany, I told you my team's got it together right there, okay? What I'm going to do is I'm going to screenshot this, okay? Ba-boom, okay? Now, I don't have to go in there and copy and paste all this stuff, okay? I'm going to click Import, and I'm going to browse Files, and y'all, this is where I do my dance because I don't have to go in and import and copy and paste. I can go ahead and just take a screenshot and have it ready for my students. And Brittany, why is this rubric and having a rubric, why is that so important when students are writing their personal narrative and Class Companion is giving feedback? Why is having a rubric so important?
Because it's going to give feedback based on that rubric. So not only is the student going to be able to talk to Ditto if you allow that, but once they have attempts in there, it's going to give them direct feedback associated with that rubric so they know how they can improve later down the road.
Love it. And guys, I don't know what's simpler than this. I really don't. Like, this is a yeehaw moment for me. Brittany, you talk about burnout. This literally just like alleviated some burnout right here. Okay. All right. So I got originality, I got design, I got communication, literary skills. And guys, you can go in and change this. You can also add criteria, like keep the teacher in the loop. Okay. You can even improve it with AI. You do a little, sprinkle dust, but I'm going to click finish. All right. And I could sit here and say, oh, I'm done. But I love to go submission settings. I like to keep everything going just to double check because the power of Class and Companion, I've seen it just firsthand, is how many attempts I give my students. Okay. So Brittany, walk us through this. Why is this important? And how many do you think we should give our students?
I find that the attempt part is the biggest part because you have those students who would just put an answer down and keep going. But when they have these attempts and they can see their score go up, that's where the
Mhm.
happens. That's where they're
Wait,
excited.
wait, wait. Is that what we call a yeehaw moment?
That is
Okay, okay.
absolutely a
Alright.
moment. Yeah,
That's a yeehaw moment. Okay. So you think 2 is a good number?
I do. I think 2, 3, 4, maybe, as many as
Yep.
you would want to give your students so that they can keep improving and iterating.
I love it. And if you scroll down, y'all, you got feedback timing. Do you want to give it instant? So when Brittany submits her assignment, do I want it delayed? Do I want it after the assignment closes? Don't want to keep her on her toes. But no, I'll give it to them, the instant feedback, because kids love it. It's like kids literally, I see kids and I go, all right, guys, you guys are going to get this instant feedback. We're going to have 2 minutes of quiet time. Okay. And I say, read your feedback, and then we're going to discuss your feedback. What did you find valuable? What do you think you're going to fix? What do you think maybe AI was wrong? Okay. So I just love this, the instant feedback. And also, this is huge for me, is this essay submission format. We can have it typed, handwritten, or either. What does this mean?
So you can actually allow students to handwrite their assignment. I know there's a lot of teachers out there who are like, okay, but what if they chat GPT? I want my students writing this down in person on paper. This allows them to have that handwritten assignment
Mhm.
and upload it so that they can get that feedback and be able to iterate. So that does allow them to do that.
Yeah, I know. I was meeting with a teacher the other day, and she's like, "I've been working on cursive. Does anything read cursive?" And I was like, "Yep, it does." You know, love it. And then general, you set the time limits, all that fun stuff, accommodations. Girl, talk us through this. I think this is a really we need to hit on this because this is going to really reach every single learner in our classroom.
Yeah, and I think it works really well with Book Creator because Book Creator just
Hmm.
their text to speech as well. But we do have accommodations for students. And so this allows students individually to have accommodations such as translation, text to speech, speech to text. And then
Yep.
also, this area here would allow you to disable those accommodations if you wanted to. Maybe
Right.
allow a student to try it without accommodations. But every assignment, once you put it in for a student, will allow them to have those
It
accommodations.
automatically does it. And I think that's a great relationship that Book Creator and Class Companion have is we are a tool for every single student, every single learner. With Book Creator, we have the text to speech, the speech to text, we have the translations, and also Class Companion does as well. So, a great relationship there. And last but not least, I love this part. Teachers love this part because they're like, my kids are copy and pasting. I can never tell. Okay, walk us through this last part, and then I think we're almost going to be ready to go.
Yeah, so response integrity is a huge one. We don't say we have AI detection because that is not something that is really reliable. But we do want to foster those conversations between the teachers
Yep.
and students on response integrity. And so we have the ability to detect pasting, detect copying and pasting, detect typing anomalies. So are you typing 200 words per minute? Probably not. And so
Yep.
that kind of allows the teacher to have those conversations with students and say, hey, I noticed you've pasted this. Where did you get this from? Rather than saying no cheating or no AI,
Yep.
those types of
It's
conversations.
a great time to have a conversation with students, and it detects it for you. So if our students use it, and a lot of times they don't, I don't even tell them. And it's just a great time to have that conversation. And sometimes when they have that second or third attempt, then I say, okay, you've copied and pasted that first time, but now let's go in and use that as a learning moment, right? And so then they might go in and put it in their own words, and then they feel empowered after their feedback and go, okay, wait, I can do this. I don't need to have to copy and paste. So I absolutely love all these different features, and I think that submission setting, it needs to be highlighted because so many people like to click publish after rubric, and I always like to really go in and dive into those settings. So I think that we're ready to go. But before I click publish, I want to see preview as students. Okay. This is a great way to see what our students are going to see, and see if we need to tweak anything because we always have that, like those unknowns. What does it look like as a student? And they have it for you. So if I was a student logging on, I would be able to see this right here. I have Ditto my AI tutor, and I'm able to answer my question a few times. So, all right, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to hit publish. All right, looks pretty good. All right, and actually Brittany is one of my students in this class. I am going to give her the due date. No, I'm not going to give her due dates. That would be mean. All right, and I'm going to go ahead and click publish. Now, I'm going to let her share her screen, and we might go a little bit back and forth after, she submits her work, but as maybe she's doing her assignment right now, she might be typing away. And so I can actually go in and I can click right here and I can see that she's working on this. There she is. And I can, so I can see what she's doing. She can go ahead and answer her assignment. And Brittany, let us have it.
Yeah, so I'm going to go in, and I am a student, so I can see in my Be an Author Month class that I have my personal narrative ready to go. That was just released. So it says not started. I can click right into that. It will load, and I can see the rubric too. So even before I start working on my assignment as the student, I can look at the rubric, see what it looks like. I know exactly what my teacher is looking for, so that's perfect. And I can go ahead and get started. So say I'm a student who's really struggling, right? Like I don't even know where to start. Maybe that's where I start to ask Ditto. I can say, I don't know where to start. And so Ditto is going to come back and it's going to say, that's okay. Starting can be tough. Have you thought about an experience that really made an impact on you? So Ditto's not going to answer this question for me, but he might prompt me to think about some situations that I might have had a time with. Maybe try thinking about a time you felt a strong emotion or you learned something new. What comes to mind? So I might say something like, I got stuck in a tree. And so Ditto might come back, wow, that sounds like an interesting experience. And I'm going to prompt me through that. So here, I'm just going to show you what this would look like. I already have a narrative kind of written out in 6th grade format here. I don't even think I ended it, but it's okay. So I'm going to go ahead and submit it so that you can see what the student would get in a response.
And I love how you really pinpointed on Ditto. A lot of people say, well, they could go and ask ChatGPT and is it going to give them answers? But you don't really want them going outside of Class Companion. And the more that I've used Class Companion, our students don't go outside of it. They really stay in. They have that tutor, and you really nailed it, is that it doesn't give them the answers. It's really going to probe them, generating questions for them to then reply back and kind of start those thinking processes, those writing processes. So I love how you highlighted that.
Yes. And so once I do this first attempt, the part that I really like about this is that students can see exactly out of their score originality. Oh, your narrative shows creativity and effort, especially with the engaging theme. The story has fresh perspective. Great job in making the story interesting. So it's not just giving me a great job. Good job. It's giving me like clear feedback with this. And so it gave me a 2 out of 3. Here with the design, it says my narrative doesn't include any multimedia elements. That might be an area that I might say, hey, Farmer Fobs, I think this might be inappropriate for this specific assignment, right? Like I
100%.
Specific multimedia. So I might say, I request a 3. Class Companion at this time does not allow multimedia. And so I
think I love this. I love this because before we talked about keeping the teacher in the loop. Okay. And I love this because this keeps the student in the loop. That student has to read what that feedback is. And it's because it was part of the rubric to create that multimedia. Well, you're about to go do that in Book Creator, but it gave you that feedback. And so I can actually go in and I can fix your score, but you cared enough to read your feedback and to ask and say, hey, I feel empowered enough to say, hey, I feel like I should get 3 out of 3 because I'm about to go do that in Book Creator. And it gives every student a voice. And they always say that, keep the student in the loop because your grade isn't set in stone. go ahead and rebuttal. Go ahead and tell me why. And I the first time I used Class Companion, I didn't know this existed, but I had a kid tell me why he deserved a better score. And it was a true yeehaw moment because that kid read the feedback. He cared enough and he felt empowered enough to say, hey, you know what, I can ask for a better score and I trust my teacher to, to give me that and to go and look at it. So I absolutely love this feature. So I'm actually glad I messed up on the rubric here.
Yeah, me too. I think
Love
that was a really good yeehaw moment for us as teachers.
Yeah, for sure.
Then the student can go in and make those adjustments and then try again to see if they can improve their score. So for this instance, I'm just going to go ahead and submit one more time. I changed one spelling error and just kind of see what happens before I'm like, okay, I'm okay with this. I'm going to move it into Book Creator.
Awesome. And on my side, and you don't have to share my screen, but on my side, I'm actually looking at hers right now, and I can actually see where she disputed it, and I can click there, and I can change the score, and I can hit submit. And so I've actually just gone ahead and changed her score for a 3 out of 3. I can see that instantly, and I can see the feedback that she's gotten. And so I just love that. Where I can go in and I can see that hey, she's disputed it. I can go in and fix that. And I can also see that she just did attempt number 2. All right. So love it how it's in real time where she's submitting. I'm able to see that. So love, love, love.
So as a student, I'm going to go ahead and I'm like, okay, this is as good as I can do. Hopefully in my second attempt, I have improved my score. For this one, I have not, but hopefully I have improved my score by seeing that immediate feedback and getting that support. And so then I would go over to my Book Creator account. And what I did was I remixed the story template here for the Tell Your Story competition.
I love it.
Yeah. And so this is my story about the day I got stuck in a tree, written by me, Brittany Blackwell. And so I
really don't want to ask if this really happened to you, but I'm probably going to think it did.
You do want to ask. Yes.
I do.
I was not. I did not actually.
Okay. Whew.
But it wasn't my story to write either way. And so what I did was I went ahead and I imported a picture of myself. I did the cardinal rule of being a woman and actually put how old I am. And told a little bit about myself as the author. And your students can do the same thing here. They can add a photo of themselves. What I did was I imported this picture from my Drive, and then and pasted here, copied and pasted my my story. And what I really like about this is here I didn't have an actual picture of myself.
Because it didn't happen. We don't want a picture of you stuck in a tree. So
right.
It's okay to use somebody else's right here.
Right. So what I did was I went to this plus sign here and I found images and I just searched for kid stuck in a tree.
Yeah.
And I love that these pictures are real images.
Yep.
I think that kids can really get a grasp on like what they're trying to find here.
Yep. And you know what, also, I think right here, we have a something special coming up here pretty soon, which is an AI image generator coming built in right into Book Creator here pretty soon. I'm just gonna slide that in because you could look through our images that are built right into Book Creator. Students don't have to go outside into Google and all that stuff. But we'll also be having this AI image generator coming pretty soon where you could actually go in and I will say I love the descriptive writing that AI really empowers that students. But I'm also going to say that even with Book Creator, if I don't know how to spell something or if I would rather tell my story with my voice or through video, those are different options as well. Especially for our littles, they're like, how do I spell tree, miss? How do I spell tree? And you're like, Well, you have that speech to text built right into everything, into images, into text, all of that stuff to really have, a voice for every student. So, lesson learned, don't climb higher than you can get down from. Yep, yep, yep. That's like the number one rule. And when you're on a farm and you try to climb trees, that you remember that rule, and I don't know if we ever remember it, we just keep climbing trees, you
I
know.
the things that I really like about this is not only for our younger students, but our older students, when we're trying to teach like text features, these are really important to have, like the bold, the italics, the underline, even the link part here is really cool.
Yeah.
I can think of different ways that we could kind of incorporate this for students. And so I really like all of the various features that Book Creator has in the text field.
And I know you were about to hit on that translation. It's a tool for every student. You can go in and translate your story. Let's say I have a student that wants to, write their story in Spanish, and then you're able to go in and you're able to literally instantly change it to English. You also have read alouds where you can actually read this aloud in edit mode, which I absolutely love as well. So all these different features are built right into Book Creator, and this template is already made, y'all. It's already made for students to go in and create, brainstorm their book, go in and create their final draft, and then able to submit it into our Be an Author Month competition. Brittany, I don't know how else could we make this easier and more engaging for students, to be able to get instant feedback. And you talk about burnout with teachers all the time. How does AI feedback, the Class Companion, really relieves that burnout for teachers? Talk to me a little bit more about that.
Yeah, well, with students using artificial intelligence to get that immediate feedback, they're no longer having to wait for the teacher to give that. I don't know about you, but I
Yeah.
taught middle school, and giving students that immediate feedback on 20 essays or 30 essays per period, right, was really
Yep.
difficult. And the part that I really struggled with, and I'm just going to be completely honest with you, is that I would be a little bit tougher in the beginning than I was at the end, right? And there's tons
Yep.
of studies that have been done on this, but I felt bad because some of my students got judged more harshly, even on a rubric, because I'm a human, right? But
Yep.
with this, they're able to get that immediate feedback. I am able to see that. We're able to have those conversations. So it's not really stopping the conversations between the teacher and the student in the writing
Yep.
process, but they're getting that draft with support, and they're not
Yeah.
not like they're not losing out because
100%.
of using
Yep.
that.
And I think, I often talk about how AI can enhance creativity. And
Yes.
so, you're really talking about how with this AI, I'm able to get AI instant feedback. Okay. And now I feel empowered to go in and publish my story in Book Creator. And so I just love how those two kind of coincide, because with Book Creator, I was able to take my personal narrative that I wrote in Class Companion, and I pasted it in my book. But then I can use so many different elements of Book Creator. And so if you don't mind, share my screen here in a little right here. I'm going to show you just a few ways to just really enhance your story. If I have my story, she really nailed on these images where we have our images built right in. But I love to really showcase another way. If I go to media and I go to icons, I might even put in a tree, and I can add a tree, and then I can go in and add, you know, a person, climbing. Let's see, climbing, just, yeah. So something like this. And I could even kind of come in and create even some ways to like kind of combine images. So like I can even like do something fun like this, recreate something where I'm climbing up a tree. I can change these different elements, these colors. If I have this, he's going to have to be green for right now. But it's just a way. Also, this I just love the little icons, because you can kind of create them all together. You can also go in and you can use the pen tool, and I love this little auto draw. because, and this is a little AI, so a little AI to enhance that creativity. Let's say that I want to build or I want to draw this tree, okay? And it's, notice at the top, it's actually trying to, yep, there we go. So I don't know if that's a piece of broccoli or not, but there's my little tree, but I didn't know how to draw a tree. And so I love using that little AI drawing as well because I have a tree, I have a guy climbing it, those different kind of things. So I just love those few pieces other than like their images, the drawing feature and the little icons because I don't know, I just love them. And then I love the little apps with the little Giphy, um, climbing, no, falling from a tree. Let's see, because no, didn't want us climbing a tree. Let's see if we got anything. Oh, there we go. And also, this can add just a little bit of animation to your story. So, you know, we don't want you climbing from a tree. We don't want you falling from a tree. But if you did, these are just some ways to really showcase to like, you know, animate your page. You have your text, you have your images, you have the icons, you have the Giphies. Also, we have a built-in with Canva as well, and then we have an image generator. It's coming soon. I can't wait. So I love it. Thanks, Brittany. I absolutely loved our time together. I loved your story. I don't know how you could get any much better than that. Just don't make it happen in real life. Okay.
Right.
All
No, we
right.
don't want that. But I do love that the man is climbing the tree here. And I did not know that you could find those moving types of things there. And I think that adds a lot of creativity for students in this. And talking with the AI tutor allows a little bit of that creativity too, especially for
Yeah.
those who do get blocked. So I think this was
Yeah.
a killer egg smash, if you will.
I think it was a great egg smash. And if you haven't checked out our little TikTok on Twitter, Instagram, or TikTok, we did the whole you know, suspect is, you know, creating, you know, yeehaw moments and relieving burnout. So we would love to connect with each and every single one of you that comes across this webinar, whether you're watching live or later. I'm at Farmer Fobs. And Brittany, where are you? Where can they find you?
I am at Miss Princess Teach on TikTok or at Teaching Mind, Body, and Soul on Instagram. But we are also book creator and class companion.
We're also book creator and class companion. So thanks, guys, for taking your time out today and hanging with us. And if you ever have any questions, hit us up on social media. We're always here to help.
Yep. Bye.
All right, y'all. We'll see y'all. Thanks.